So I bought this bracket, this mount for my monitor. And basically the idea is that you put like a rod in here, and then there's a screw here, and then that screws into the monitor here. And then you can slide this up and down, and then you can adjust the position of your monitor. And I thought that would be really useful. But then when I unscrewed it, the screw just remained stuck in the monitor. And now I need like a pair of pliers to get it out. And that doesn't seem right to me. So I don't know if I've done this wrong. If I'm doing this wrong, let me know in the comments how I'm supposed to be doing it. Anyway, this seems to be my life, is just screwing and unscrewing things in different ways. But hello, by the way. This is me. My name's Tom, and I'm a professional filmmaker, believe it or not. I've been doing it for about 13 years. And I suppose this is my channel. I don't really know, I've never done this YouTube, I've never made a YouTube before. I've made films and I've put them on YouTube, and I suppose now this is me talking to a camera, and here's my face, and you can do with this information what you want. But my background is in producing commercial content. I have produced films for National Geographic, CNBC, Tesco, various big companies. And then more recently I've been making documentaries. I made a film called The Birdwatchers. That did pretty well on YouTube. A few people watched it, and then it did pretty well in festivals. And then some people even gave me some awards for it. So that was nice. And then more recently, I made a film called The Essex Ways. And that was a film about my friend James, who hiked for 400 kilometers around the whole of Essex. I went with him for a bunch of it, and I filmed him, and we made a feature-length documentary. Both of those films are available to watch on YouTube. I keep doing this with my hands. This is a thing that I do, apparently, is I gesture with my hands. But essentially what I wanted to say was that people have been coming to me asking for career advice. And often people have the same kind of questions. How can I go from here, being not a filmmaker, to here, which is being a filmmaker? And they want to kind of join those dots. And a lot of the time, people are asking me about my own career and how I went from here to here to here to here to here. And my career's been a bit of that, and I've done a little bit of everything. I've done producing, and I've done editing and directing and shooting. But I'm not going to bore you with those details because, one, it is boring, and two, there's no point in copying someone else's career trajectory because everyone is different. There's no such thing as a start here and then do this and then do that and then you'll get here. That's not the way it works. I'm afraid, I'm sorry to break it to you. But there's a couple of things that I really wanted to say. And the first one is that if you do want to be a filmmaker and you want to make documentaries, it's not about the camera kit. So when I made my film, The Birdwatchers, I shot it on this. This is a Canon C100 Mark II. It's a great camera to start with, and it's probably like, I don't know, 13 years old. But I only made my film a couple of years ago, and I bought this off eBay for about 800 quid. And then I rented a lens and got a little microphone to just plug in so you can hear what people are saying. That's important. And I got a tripod, and that's it. You don't need anything more than that. But if you go on any kind of filmmaking YouTube video, you'd be forgiven for thinking that if you want to make good films, then you need like an all singing, all dancing, super modern mirrorless thing with like 12-bit raw, 8K, 240 frames a second, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? Nobody cares. The number of times a client has asked me what kind of camera I'm using is literally zero in my entire career. In my entire career, no one has ever cared. The only people that care are camera companies because they want you to buy more cameras. That's basically it. You can make films on this. You know, the camera on your phone is more than good enough to go and capture what you need. So don't let camera kit hold you back, and don't let weird camera influencers on YouTube make you think any different, because they're probably being sponsored by the camera company. That's basically all it comes down to. And that brings me to point number 2. You don't need anyone's permission to go and make a film. I think when people watched my films and then reached out to me, maybe they thought that I had this big kind of, I had this vision. I went to the BFI and I said, hey, please give me £50,000. And they said, yes, here is funding for your documentary. You are now a documentary filmmaker, and we give you permission to put this in your title and call yourself a filmmaker. No. The only cost of making that film was buying the camera. And I didn't even have to do that because I could have just rented it or borrowed one, but I didn't need permission. I went on Facebook, I went on a Facebook group and I contacted some people that were passionate about what they did. And I said, hey, do you want to be in a film and talk to me about why you love what you love? And they said, yeah, of course. And then I went there with my camera and I filmed them, and that was it. There's nothing to it. It's not complicated. I think people make this stuff much more complicated than it needs to be. I live in North London, and Walthamstow Wetlands, which is where I filmed The Birdwatchers, is basically right next door. So really I made that film as a kind of a love letter to my home. Likewise with the Essex Ways, me and James are both from Essex, so it was a great way to reconnect with our home county. We didn't need to go trekking to the other side of the world to make a cool documentary. We could do it right on our doorstep. Because really interesting documentaries are about interesting people. They're about people doing cool, exciting things. They're people that are passionate about stuff that they love. You could make a film about your next door neighbor. If your next door neighbor is an interesting person and they're passionate about something and you can convey that passion on camera, that's great. You've got a film, go and do that. You don't need to go up to the mountains or into the jungle to make something interesting. It's about getting out there, and it's about meeting people that are excited about stuff, that are curious about things, maybe about art or culture or music or literature or identity or craft or a skill or nature or the environment. That's where really compelling content comes from. And if you can just get a phone or a cheap camera or whatever, and you can go and meet some interesting people, get that on camera and share that with the world. You don't need permission, you don't need funding, you don't need a fancy camera for that. You can just go and do that with your mates. You can do that with your neighbors, with your brother, with your sister, with your mum. I think probably what it boils down to is maybe people are searching for some kind of affirmation or permission or accreditation or looking for somebody to come to them and say, you are now officially a filmmaker. But it never really works like that. I mean, for my whole career, I've never felt like I've finally made it. It's always just been a series of steps. Do a thing and figure it out and make mistakes and learn from it and try something else and then make another mistake and then learn from that. And then, oh, what if I go over here and I try this? And it's not a linear path, and it's not a case of going to film school. I didn't go to film school. I got a law degree for some reason, but I was interested in this stuff. So I got a camera and I just went out and I messed about with some friends and I built a community of other people that wanted to do the same thing. And if you make stuff, you're a filmmaker. There you go. I'm giving you permission. If that's what you want, you have my permission. You're a filmmaker. So go and make stuff and go and share it with an audience and show it to your friends, show it to your family, rent a hall, stick it on a screen, put it here on YouTube. I think that's kind of all I have to say, to be honest. If you're still watching, then thanks. I hope that was useful. If it wasn't useful, I think you probably would have turned off by now. I know I'm not like a proper YouTuber with fancy lights and stuff, but I don't care. I've got other things to do. I need to figure out how to get this screw out of this monitor before my shoot tomorrow. So if you could let me know how to do that, I'd be very grateful. But there you go. Until next time, thanks for watching.